Up next, we have Peter Erlander, longtime member of the National Lawyers Guild, professor at the William Mitchell Law School. Please welcome Peter Erlander.
Listen, I came here today to begin with a profound thank you, because you know that this last summer I was accused of a thought crime, genocide denial, right? And the result of people all around the world saying you can't do that resulted in the most powerful country in the world supporting its proxy in Africa backing down and releasing me in 3 weeks. Happened because of you, not because of any legal arguments that took place anywhere. And one of the reasons that you hear about National Lawyers Guild people being involved in all this stuff is that we understand that history is made by the people, and it's our job to free the people from the chains that the legal system tries to put on them so they can get out in the streets to change the world, to change the legal system, and we are the mechanics that can help do that. So put us to work. Now, the other thing I want to say is that I didn't just get arrested for thought crimes. The reason I got arrested is I have the hard evidence that the guys who won the war have told the story about what happened in the war in Rwanda, which means they are the guys who are responsible for the genocide, and I have the documents to show that the Pentagon trained them, supported them. The State Department learned that the Pentagon is responsible for the genocide, and they've been covering up that since September 1994. I have the documents, which is the reason I was an enemy of the Rwandan state, not because of what I said, because of the evidence that what I have is that they are the genocidaires, and the Pentagon and the State Department have been covering it up for the last 16 years, and I got the documents out of the UN files. That's what made me an enemy, not flapping my gums. So, thought crimes can get you in trouble, but having the evidence is worse. The thing I wanted to tell you, though, brothers and sisters, is that for the last 5 years, I've been representing people in Minneapolis being called before grand juries, taken out of high schools, taken out of their religious institutions, taken out of their schools, their workplaces, having the FBI knock on their doors, hundreds of people, in which demonstrations like this have not happened because their whole community is so terrified they don't realize that this is the way to fight back against grand jury abuse. They're the Somali people in our community have had worse than this for the last 5 years, and where have we been? They are us. They have been us. They were the canaries in the coal mine. We need to make common cause with our Somali brothers and sisters, our Muslim brothers and sisters. They are the ones who took the abuse to begin with. We are them. They are us. We need to fight back across the line. Now, the problem is, these brothers and sisters don't know the history that we have of fighting this stuff, how to do it. We need to embrace them. We need to help them understand that there is a way to fight this, because these indictments under the change in law that the Supreme Court did 6 weeks ago, these aren't the first indictments. It happened already 3 weeks ago. 2 Muslim ladies, Somali ladies in Rochester, who collect old clothes to send them to the refugee camps that I've been working with for the last year, are now providing material support for terrorism because they're sending old clothes to a refugee camp because Al-Shabaab might get a t-shirt. That's been going on for 5 years. Have you heard about the terrorism convictions where these guys have pled guilty? You know what they pled guilty to? My body was in Somalia after the Ethiopians, supported by the United States, invaded, and I went back to defend my homeland. The material support for terrorism was my body. 5 pleas of guilty, material support for terrorism, because my body was in my homeland. The other convictions, lying to a federal official, Why? Because when the feds came to the door to begin with, the guy said, gee, I didn't know anything about it. And if you don't plead to that, then you get in the situation my other client had, Mohammed Warsami, 6.5 years in solitary confinement waiting for trial here in Minnesota, and we couldn't get him to trial, so we had to plead him guilty to material support so he could go home to Canada. 6.5 years in solitary confinement without a trial. You think you guys got it bad? Man, this has been a struggle, and I'm so glad that it's not just the Somalis. I'm so glad it's not just the Muslims. But this is not the first time it's happened. Do you remember Reverend Niemöller? Huh? First they came for the communists. I didn't say anything because I wasn't a communist. Well, in Minnesota, they first came for the Somalis. This is a struggle for all of us, my friends.